What Rio Ferdinand once said about Guehi proves he's perfect for Liverpool. Guehi has been linked with a move to Liverpool, but it remains to be seen whether the Merseyside outfit will sign him in the coming weeks or wait for his contract to expire next year. Arne Slot has Giovanni Leone at his disposal after the Italian centre-back signed from Parma, but the England international's arrival would certainly be the cherry on top in L4. Ferdinand impressed by Liverpool target Guehi during Euro 2024. Guehi's first start for England in a major tournament came at Euro 2024 in the opening game against Serbia. The 25-year-old partnered Manchester City defender John Stones in the back line as the Three Lions won 1-0 at the Veltins Arena on June 16, 2024. Ferdinand was impressed by the Palace defender's demeanor on the ball and doesn't feel the Englishman is phased in the big matches, which is arguably perfect for the Reds. Speaking on the BBC, as relayed on the Eagles' website on June 17, 2024, the Manchester United icon said, "Positionally, on the front foot, cool, calm, and collected. He doesn't want to be a superstar. He is a very humble young man. At 23 years old, he often captains Palace, a Premier League team. He doesn't look like he is going to be phased. I don't like emotional defenders, and he's not one of those." Ibrahima Konate to wave goodbye after Guehi signs. Ibrahima Konate looked out of sorts against Bournemouth in the 2025-26 campaign's Premier League curtain raiser. The French centre-back was defensively underwhelming and looked distracted by his contract situation at Anfield. Real Madrid have identified Konate as one of their targets for next summer, with the 26-year-old's contract expiring at the end of the season. With Konate's future uncertain, it would make sense for Liverpool to cash in on him before the ongoing transfer window concludes. If the Reds sign Guehi in the coming weeks, they may be able to afford to sell the French centre-back to Madrid or other interested clubs for a decent fee instead of losing him as a free agent. The Palace defender arguably has all the attributes to succeed at Anfield, and he should replace Konate, who doesn't seem committed to Slot's project in L4. Liverpool fans are certain of Guehi signing after what he did following Chelsea draw. Guehi is subject to serious interest from Liverpool this summer. Guehi has reportedly agreed personal terms with Liverpool as they look to bolster their centre-back options after Jarell Quansah joined Bayer Leverkusen. The 25-year-old started in the Community Shield at Wembley last weekend, in which Liverpool lost to Crystal Palace on penalties after a 2-2 draw. Steve Parish stated after the Wembley clash that Guehi may need to be sold by Crystal Palace as he enters the final year of his contract. The Eagles drew 0-0 away at Chelsea in their Premier League opener, and what happened afterwards has been lauded by Liverpool fans. Guehi snubs Oliver Glasner after Palace draw at Chelsea. Palace played out a controversial goalless draw at Stamford Bridge, as VAR ruled out Eberekiese's free kick as Guehi was too close to the wall. After the game, Eagles boss Oliver Glasner went onto the pitch to shake hands with the players, a common gesture in modern football. However, the England defender inadvertently snubbed his manager's attempted handshake and went straight down the tunnel, which bemused the Austrian as well as Palace striker Jean-Philippe Mateta, who has also been linked with a move to Anfield this summer. Roy Keane criticized Glasner for going on the pitch instead of going down the tunnel, but fans focused on Guehi's actions and how bad the optics look in terms of a move away from Selhurst Park. Liverpool fans confident that Guehi's head has been turned. Reds fans have been crying out for centre-back reinforcements this summer, especially after events in pre-season. Liverpool have been criticized for their defending in the 4-2 over Bournemouth, with Ibrahima Konate coming under fire for his poor performances recently. The sight of Guehi's snubbing of Glasner has come with intrigue to large parts of the Liverpool fanbase, who are now certain that the defender only wants to move to Anfield. The Reds have been able to attract high-level talent to a level never seen before at Anfield, as the phrase, "only wants Liverpool," has been echoed many times this transfer window. If Liverpool can sign both Guehi and Alexander Isak in the last 2 weeks of the window, then most will believe the title race is a foregone conclusion. Thanks for watching. Stay for the next content. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Guehi snubs Oliver Glasner after Palace draw at Chelsea. Palace played out a controversial goalless draw at Stamford Bridge, as VAR ruled out Eberekiese's free kick as Guehi was too close to the wall. After the game, Eagles boss Oliver Glasner went onto the pitch to shake hands with the players, a common gesture in modern football. However, the England defender inadvertently snubbed his manager's attempted handshake and went straight down the tunnel, which bemused the Austrian as well as Palace striker Jean-Philippe Mateta, who has also been linked with a move to Anfield this summer. Roy Keane criticized Glasner for going on the pitch instead of going down the tunnel, but fans focused on Guehi's actions and how bad the optics look in terms of a move away from Selhurst Park. Liverpool fans confident that Guehi's head has been turned. Reds fans have been crying out for centre-back reinforcements this summer, especially after events in pre-season. Liverpool have been criticized for their defending in the 4-2 over Bournemouth, with Ibrahima Konate coming under fire for his poor performances recently. The sight of Guehi's snubbing of Glasner has come with intrigue to large parts of the Liverpool fanbase, who are now certain that the defender only wants to move to Anfield. The Reds have been able to attract high-level talent to a level never seen before at Anfield, as the phrase, "only wants Liverpool," has been echoed many times this transfer window. If Liverpool can sign both Guehi and Alexander Isak in the last 2 weeks of the window, then most will believe the title race is a foregone conclusion. Thanks for watching. Stay for the next content. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Liverpool-Guehi has made Arsenal feelings very clear in unseen footage amid Spurs transfer links. Liverpool-Guehi is nearing a move to Tottenham Hotspur. But the Crystal Palace FA Cup heroes' past comments about Arsenal are unlikely to go down well with their rivals. Old video footage of Tottenham and Arsenal transfer target Liverpool-Guehi expressing his love for the Gunners has emerged. The Crystal Palace playmaker has been linked with both North London clubs this summer. Arsenal were initially expected to be Guehi's next destination due to their interest in signing a left-sided attacking midfielder, but their bitter rivals Tottenham now appear in pole position to sign the 27-year-old England international. Spurs are understood to want to sign Ez for a fee of £55 million plus £5 million in bonuses, with his release clause of £68.5 million having expired earlier this summer. However, they are yet to reach an agreement with Palace, and with Ez said to be interested in a Tottenham move due to their Champions League football. He may have already played his final Premier League game for the Eagles on Sunday against Chelsea, where he had a stunning free kick controversially chalked off. Arsenal's interest in Ez has cooled since they announced a new long-term contract for 18-year-old Ethan Nwaneri, with the England star's arrival potentially blocking both Nwaneri and 15-year-old wonderkid Max Dalman's pathway into the first team. But while Spurs will have no issue with picking up the pieces, their fans are unlikely to be impressed by an old interview of Ez, which has surfaced online. In the clip, said to be filmed in 2018 while he was still an exciting prospect at Queen's Park Rangers, Ez makes his allegiance to boyhood club Arsenal clear. When asked who his favorite Premier League team was by journalist Alessandro Maroliski, Ez responded in Arsenal. "I've just supported them from young, the way they play. I played with them when I was younger as well, so they're my favorite team." Asked whether he would leave if Arsenal came calling, he sheepishly replied, "I don't know about all of that. I'm a QPR player now, and I'm happy to be playing for QPR." Ez was also asked who would win the Premier League that season, 2018-19, to which he boldly predicted, "Arsenal, I believe." Somehow, he went on to add, "When I was younger, I used to love Thierry Henry, and that's sort of why I decided to sign for them. Just growing up playing for them, I've grown a love for them." Palace signed Ez from QPR back in the summer of 2024, around £17 million. Before that, he was on the books at Arsenal's famous Highland Academy, though he later admitted he was left crying for a week after being released at the age of 13. He has gone on to become one of the Premier League's most exciting players at Palace, making 167 appearances in all competitions and scoring 39 goals, 14 of which came last season. Spurs boss Thomas Frank was asked about a potential transfer following his side's opening day win versus Burnley, but remained tight-lipped. He said, "We are definitely in the market. I said it before, Daniel and Johan and Viney are working relentlessly to try to do their best to improve the squad. But we only want to improve the squad if we can get players in that can improve the squad. I want to keep it like this." Asked specifically about Ez, the Dane responded, "I have that nice principle that I would like to speak about the players that are in-house and all the other speculations. I don't want to speak too much about that. Along with the fees still needing to be agreed, Ez's departure will also depend on whether or not Palace can land a replacement before the window closes. They are currently chasing Leicester's Bilo Elkanis and Club Brugge midfielder Christos Zolis. Ez is expected to be available for Palace's Conference League playoff on Thursday. Thanks for watching. Stay for the next content. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Manchester City pull out a move for €100 millions. Real Madrid superstar. Real Madrid star Rodrigo Goes will have to consider other possibilities if he is to get a big money move this summer, with Manchester City seemingly no longer an option. Pep Guardiola's side had been most heavily linked with Rodrigo, but had now lost Blancos, and the Brazilian will place their hopes of a move elsewhere. City were focused on bringing in Rodrigo as a replacement for Savinho this summer, with their own Brazilian winger keen on a move to Tottenham Hotspur. City had turned down a bid from Spurs last week, but now that move looks to be off, with consequences for a potential move for Rodrigo. Manchester City, to keep hold of Xavi, and it seems Spurs are not willing to meet City's asking price, as Guillem Balak reports that City have decided that Savinho will not be going anywhere. As he notes, this ends Rodrigo's chances of joining the Premier League side this summer, as he would have been the replacement for the former Girona man. City were supposedly willing to meet Rodrigo's asking price, which was somewhere between €80 million and €100 million, and had already lined up a bid as soon as a deal was agreed for Savinho to leave. It was reported throughout that exits for Savinho, James McAtee and Jack Grealish were all necessities for a move for Rodrigo though, and that won't happen as things stand. Could Liverpool or Arsenal move for Rodrigo? The other two sides that have been most closely linked to Rodrigo are Liverpool and Arsenal. The former have their eyes on Rodrigo, but only as an alternative should their move for Alexander Isak fail. Similarly, Arsenal would need to sell players first, and would probably only move for him if a deal for Ibarrechias does not get done. Previously, the Gunners have inquired about a loan with an obligation to buy next summer. To door open for Gunners to make Rodrigo move as Manchester City give up on deal. Mikel Arteta wants to sign another forward, but does the Brazilian fit the bill? The door has swung open for Arsenal to make a move for Rodrigo after Manchester City today decided Savinho's future. Tottenham opened surprise talks to sign Savinho earlier this month, and the player was subsequently left out of the matchday squad for City's Premier League opener away to Wolves. Standard Sport understands the Brazilian made 48 appearances in all competitions for City last season, was earmarked as a Tottenham target after Heung-Min Son was sold to LAFC and James Maddison ruled out with injury. But City have now decided to keep the 21-year-old. According to reports from Guillem Balak, that decision has also seen Pep Guardiola's men drop their interest in Real Madrid forward Rodrigo, a move which Arsenal could benefit from. The Gunners are known to be keen on the lost Blancos forward and held talks regarding a potential transfer earlier this summer. Reports in Spanish outlet Cadena Ser report that Madrid have told the player he can leave this summer, with an asking price set at €90 million, £76.8 million. With City now out of the running, Arsenal could prove the most appealing destination for Rodrigo, who hit 6 goals and 5 assists in 30 La Liga outings last season. It remains unclear whether Arsenal will make a move though. Amid reports, the club would sooner move for a left-footed forward or a natural left winger. Rodrigo prefers to play off the right and is right-footed. To complicate matters further for the Gunners, Liverpool are also weighing up a move for the player, and Rodrigo is thought to be keen on a move to Anfield. Thanks for watching. Stay for the next content. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Newcastle players won't accept Alexander Isak back after Liverpool insult. Alexander Isak is likely to need to win back more than just Eddie Howe's approval should he return to the Newcastle United squad this season. Isak ranks as Newcastle's most expensive player of all time after arriving from Real Sociedad on a £60 million deal in 2022, but his time at St. James Park could be coming to an end. The Sweden international has made no secret of his desire to join Liverpool following an eye-watering bid from Anfield, which was swiftly rejected, and has now excluded himself from the squad for the start of the season. Football Insider understands that Isak will eventually get his dream Liverpool move, currently sitting at home while the Magpies attempt to find a replacement, but time is running out for the club to do so. João Pedro, Leon Delap, Mateus Cunha, Benjamin Sesko, and Hugo Ekitike have all been on the transfer list this summer. But if the unlikely event of Isak returning to the squad were to happen instead, Dion Dublin fears for his popularity amongst his teammates. Alexander Isak unwelcome in Newcastle United dressing room. Speaking live on BBC's Football Focus, Dublin said, "I would find it difficult accepting Alexander Isak back into the dressing room. What he is saying is, I don't want to play with you lot because you're not as good as that lot. The 25-year-old is one of the most prolific goal scorers in Newcastle's history, notching 62 goals in his first 109 appearances. But Howe now faces an extremely difficult remaining few weeks of the transfer window. Football Insider understands that Newcastle blame Howe for the club's transfer failings thus far. But with Malik Theo and Aaron Ramsdale now through the doors, all that is left is a striker. Liverpool still after Eddie Howe's biggest star. Football Insider verdict. The Reds sealed a 4-2 win over Bournemouth in their Premier League opener on Friday, the 15th of August, but despite an onslaught of goals, it was clear that a striker is still on the list this summer. Ekitike has quickly become a favorite at Anfield, and so too has Florian Wirtz. And supporters are very aware that a new center-back is desperately needed after Jimmy Carragher slammed Ibrahima Konate's performance. Isak's future remains the major talking point at both Anfield and St. James Park. However, and it does not feel like it will go away until he signs across the dotted line for Arne Slot's team. Jon Wissa has also emerged as a surprise target for the Reds, and that would be another blow for the Magpies. But Slot is not messing around in the transfer window for the 2025-26 campaign. The whole Isak saga has been a massive surprise to much of the Premier League. But with news coming out of his contract, talks being shelved, some of his actions can be understood. Of course, supporters at St. James Park would love him to return for one more season, especially with Champions League football ahead of them, but nobody can predict how this ends. Thanks for watching. Stay for the next content. Don't forget to like and subscribe.